Hello and welcome. I'm Ijoma Onyato. Tonight, court adjourns all cases on the eligibility of General Muhammadu Buhari until after the elections. Nigerian Army gives assurance of peaceful conduct before, during and after the elections. Federal government closes its borders, says foreigners with PVCs cannot vote. And investigators say data from the crashed Germanwings A320 is usable.
And on business news tonight, the latest CBN economic report puts the total estimated revenue across the country as of January 2015 at 711 billion naira.
While on sports news, the Cranes of Uganda stunned Nigeria's Super Eagles on home soil in a friendly match in the Akwa Ibom International Stadium in Uyo.
The coast is now clear for the presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, General Muhammadu Buhari, to contest Saturday's elections as a federal high court in Abuja today put on hold all eligibility suits filed against his candidacy until after the elections. The court adjourned all such cases to April the 22nd and the 23rd for hearing. Our correspondent Amaka Okafor reports.
At the resumed hearing of the suit challenging the eligibility of the All Progressive Congress presidential flag bearer, General Muhammadu Buhari, a federal high court ruled on an application filed by two new parties seeking to be joined as co-defendants in the suit. The Judge, Justice Adeni Ademola, agreed with the plaintiffs that the applications were frivolous and should be struck out.
When the proper parties are in court, the law is that you cannot force me, the plaintiff, as to who I go against. So that was why the court agreed with me that they are nothing but busybodies and meddlesome interlopers.
The court has taken a decision. We are primarily officers of the court, but like I told the court, the open court, that we still have a window of opportunity to go to higher chambers of this temple of justice to challenge the decision of the court, because the court has viewed the matter narrowly. The matter needed to be viewed broadly.
The court also adjourned the suit and all other suits before it, challenging the eligibility of General Muhammadu Buhari to contest the 2015 presidential elections slated for Saturday, the 28th of March to the 22nd and 23rd of April for hearing. Justice Adeni Ademola did not give reasons for the adjournment.
Subsection 6, subsections 5 and 6 of the Electoral Act is there, that the court can disqualify any person, whether retroactively or right now or in futuro. So we have no problem about that at all.
The case has now been adjourned to 22nd and 23rd April for hearing. And the meaning of that is that there is nothing in the way, you see, of INEC to continue very vigorously its arrangements for the election.
Adegborua and Otu had approached the court to be joined as defendants in the suit, while Adegborua premised his applications on the ground that he is a pro-democracy activist who wants to ensure that all parties are granted equal rights. Mr. Otu, on the other hand, told the court that his application is on the grounds that General Buhari is his candidate in the 2015 presidential elections, and if he is disqualified, he will be disenfranchised. Amaka Okafor, Channels Television News.
Well, all energies appear geared towards having peaceful elections, and it's in this context that Lieutenant General Kenneth Minima is giving assurances that security of life and property is guaranteed before, during and after the elections. He, however, warns that anyone caught causing trouble or inciting violence will be severely dealt with, and he also says that the armed forces will provide security for all during the exercise.
Safety and security at this upcoming election is a major concern at many quarters, upon which many Nigerians are said to have hinged their participation in the electoral process.
With this in mind, the Nigerian Army held a news conference in Abuja with the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Kenneth Minima, assuring Nigerians of adequate security during and beyond the elections. He said the Army is ready to tackle any threat of violence.
I will appeal to politicians and their followers and supporters to keep the peace, maintain the peace, and ensure a violent-free election. I will appeal to law-abiding Nigerians to come out en masse, vote for candidates of their choice without fear of intimidation, without fear for their safety. Whoever wants to invoke or provoke violence will meet organized violence waiting for him.
The status of towns and communities in northeast Nigeria, especially during this election, was addressed at a conference by the acting director of Army Public Relations, who said the Army is acquiring more ammunition to sustain the offensive there.
The Nigerian Army has sworn that never again will it allow any terrorist, any group of terrorists, covet an inch of the nation's territory. And in this bid to continually increase capacity, the Nigerian Army has continued to acquire new equipment to prosecute the ongoing war against Boko Haram, terrorists, and other criminal elements in the society.
The Army spokesman debunked reports of an alleged abduction of 500 persons recently, saying it was fabricated. He also assured Nigerians that the Army adheres to the rules of engagement during its operations and will not violate human rights of citizens in the Northeast. Omelogo, Nadi Channels Television News.
Now, police authorities have announced a restriction of vehicular movement all over the country from March the 28th and April the 11th. According to the Inspector General of Police, Sulaiman Abba, the measure is to ensure adequate security during the conduct of the elections. The IGP, however, said ambulances, fire service trucks and other vehicles on essential duties are exempt from the movement restriction order, which lasts from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. on election days. He therefore advised travellers intending to use the roads on those days and hours to plan alternative times for their journeys. The Independent National Electoral Commission says it's accredited 107 domestic and international observers to monitor the general elections. Among the accredited observers are embassies of 11 foreign nations, including the United States of America, Switzerland, Britain, Germany, France, Japan, Canada, Ireland, Australia, Ghana, and the Republic of Korea. The Commission also listed 14 international and regional organizations as part of the accredited observers, while the remaining 82 are domestic groups. Staying with the elections now, civil society organizations are asking the Independent National Electoral Commission to address lapses in the counting and collation processes to ensure the transparency and integrity of the 2015 polls. At a meeting with the CSOs in Abuja, the INEC chairman, Professor Atahiru Jega, gave assurances that the electoral umpire has fine-tuned preparations for the polls.
Ahead of the Saturday polls, civil society organizations met with the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Atahiru Jega, over their preparations for the elections. The rights activists used the occasion to call on the electoral body to ensure that collation and counting processes are done transparently so that the integrity of the election is not undermined.
Part of INEC's efforts to close gaps in preparation should focus on addressing possible lapses in the counting and collation process. Previous statements issued by the Situation Room consistently expressed concerns about the counting and collation process. It is hoped that this aspect of the electoral process is carried out with utmost transparency and integrity, because it's important that people are able to go out and vote. It's also important that people see that the way that they have voted reflects the results that are put out.
Professor Jega was, however, optimistic that the Commission is ready for the conduct of the polls. According to him, all arrangements for the elections have been perfected and the Commission has already begun the distribution of electoral materials.
Let me use this opportunity to reassure you that we believe that we've done everything possible to ensure that the elections for 2015 general elections are successful. In particular, we've done everything possible to ensure that we have prepared operationally and logistically for the conduct of the elections.
Apart from INEC, the police also assured voters of security, saying that those who plan to cause trouble during the polls will be disappointed.
The police are very well prepared. The elections are not coming to us as a surprise. We knew there will be 2015 elections. And as we speak, we're even preparing for 2019 elections. So for those who think Nigeria will end by 2015, they will be disappointed.
It is less than 72 hours from now. Eligible Nigerian voters will commence voting in a very decisive election to produce a president, state governors, and members of the federal and state legislatures for the next 4 years.
In part 2, after the break, federal government approves the closure of all land and sea borders by midnight today. That's in a moment. Do join us again.